Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this Berkeley County Board of Education meeting this Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. I call this meeting to order. I declare a quorum of members is present and the media has been notified according to the Freedom of Information Act. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Made the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey and a second by Ms. Littleton. Agenda item 11A, out-of-state travel. The administration has asked that that action item be taken off the agenda. So I'd like to make a friendly amendment to approve the agenda, striking agenda item 11A. Mr. Ramsey, will you accept a friendly amendment?
Second.
All right, so all in favor of approving the agenda with the friendly amendment to strike agenda item 11A, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. 11A will be struck from the full board meeting. Next, I have the approval of minutes from the board meeting on February 3rd, 2025. Is there a motion for approval?
Made the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Ms. Littleton, to approve the minutes of the board meeting on February 3rd, 2025. Is there any discussion, addition, or subtractions from the minutes from that meeting? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. We'll now entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
I make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Ms. Littleton, to enter into executive session. The stated purpose of the executive session is the discussion of employment contracts and/or appointment of administrators or administrator as needed, receipt of legal advice regarding and consideration of proposed settlement in the litigation of Jackson versus Berkeley County School District et al. 2022 CP 080316, 2 student expulsion appeals, and the discussion of the evaluation and contract of the superintendent. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We are in executive session. I'll now entertain a motion to return to regular session.
Make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramsey, a second by Ms. Littleton to return to regular session. Is there any discussion? I'd like to note for the record that no action was taken in executive session. All in favor of returning to regular session, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0. We're in regular session. Now, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd now like to recognize Ms. Shanika Washington for Difference Makers and Special Recognition.
Thank you, Chair Wofford, Superintendent Dixon, members of the board, and everyone who has joined us tonight. It is my pleasure to introduce Harrison Chandler. Harrison Chandler is a senior at the Berkeley Center for the Arts at Goose Creek High School and a dedicated member of the Wind and Percussion Studio. An accomplished saxophonist, Harrison has earned numerous accolades throughout his musical journey. He has served as principal saxophone for the Goose Creek High School Wind Ensemble All-County Band and Region Band for 3 years, and has held the first chair alto sax position in the SCBDA All-State Jazz Band for 3 years. Harrison is also a 2-year member of the BCSD All-County Jazz Band and has played lead alto for the Red Bank Jazz Ensemble for 4 years. Beyond school ensembles, he is a 2-time member of the SCMEA Honors Jazz Combo, the Charleston Jazz Academy, and the All-Star Jazz Ensemble. His achievements include being a finalist in the SCBDA Master Recital, where he placed 3rd, and participating in the SCBDA All-State Band. Additionally, he is a founding member of the Chosen Levite Band and has served as woodwind captain for the Spirit of Gold Band. Harrison's dedication to music and leadership continues to make an impact in his school and community. Please welcome Harrison, and a special thank you to his band directors, Mr. Tyler Holliday, Jeremy Lay, and Josh Bowl, and Principal William Wilson for their continued investment in student excellence.
Thank you so much,
Wow.
Mr. Chandler. You are amazingly talented. Thank you for sharing your talent with us. We are so appreciative.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is citizen comments. In order to conduct the meeting in an orderly and efficient manner, we ask that you honor the following guidelines. Stakeholder comments are welcomed and encouraged. However, the board will not take immediate action on public comments at this meeting. Any person wishing to address the board must register prior to the meeting. Comments must be regarding programs, policies, or procedures. Comments regarding complaints against employees other than district-level executives or references to students other than the child of the speaker will not be heard in public session. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. The board chair reserves the right to allot additional time or halt public comments that do not adhere to the guidelines. The first speaker is Lauren Buchholz, blocking of SC Discus, or DISCUS. It's on this side. Thank you, welcome.
Hello, hi, my name is Bolchez, it's okay, but Lauren Bolchez. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I am a BCSD librarian and parent of a high school student in Berkeley County. What I would like to do with my time is to pose a strong argument against the reason student access to Discus was blocked by Berkeley County schools. However, the district has not provided us with a reason, and I don't want to make a public comment based on speculation or conjecture. So what I will do is tell you what I, as an educator of 17 years, think students have lost as a result of this short-sighted unilateral decision. Discus has not been blocked anywhere else in South Carolina. Therefore, our students have been placed at a disadvantage when it comes to being able to gather reliable and credible information and learning to research. While their counterparts around the state will continue to use high-quality scholarly databases like ERIC, Medline, and EBSCO to research, our students here are now relegated to just Googling it. While students should learn how to sort through Google results, they are not likely to find the same quality information with full text availability through a Google search. It's also not appropriate for young children to use Google to research. Databases provide full access to scholarly journals written by people who research for a living. These resources are the gold standard for research. For this reason, colleges require students to use databases and pay for their students' access. High school students in our state are lucky that Discus provides free access to scholarly databases. We can continue to prepare our students for college research by using Discus, so let's not put our students at a disadvantage in BCSD. Please restore student access to SC Discus. If my argument did not persuade you, I would like to read some messages to you from other teachers and librarians who also request a return. My students, grades 6 through 8, use Discus on a regular basis. Discus is essentially an encyclopedia with multiple volumes or databases. Discus provides vetted information and prevents students from conducting random, unsafe Google searches. SC Discus allows my 3rd through 5th graders access to expensive databases at no cost. We research famous Americans, countries, and various other things. I've used this resource for over a decade, and I've never had a child access anything inappropriate, an elementary librarian. My middle school students use Discus for research projects across all grade levels and subject areas. Discus provides great, reliable, credible information for students to learn from, evaluate, synthesize, etc. Discus allows our teachers to address so many standards. This is from Alana Lewis, the 2024 South Carolina Librarian of the Year. Databases and other Discus resources allow me to provide students with age-appropriate, carefully selected resources. I have lessons planned with Culturegrams, Botanica, and more already planned with these resources. Please allow us to research and do our jobs. Discus is an invaluable resource for our students. Finding credible sources is getting ever more difficult, and Discus is the best way for elementary students to learn how to do that. Discus is a vital part
Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you. Up next, Mev McIntosh on Discus.
Good evening, board chair, members of the board. Thank you for having me. I just want to start off with a few facts, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this discus and where did it go. Fact, in Berkeley County, all academic areas and grade levels, our students score the lowest and struggle the most with the standards related to informational text. So a student's ability to meet these standards are not isolated to ELA. Also, fun fact, I'm a former ELA teacher, educator, and a parent of 2 children in Berkeley County. I am your stakeholder. Fact, the new writing assessments for state writing include TDWs, text-dependent writings, focused on persuasive, argumentative, and expository writings. I used to teach a lot of these to my students in Berkeley County. Fact, with the new textbook adoptions, not a single textbook that we've adopted can provide the amount of informational and argumentative text for students to reach these standards in grades K through 12. Fact, Discus provides accessibility options and features that help my son, who has special needs and who is nonverbal, to understand stories through immersive and interactive experiences. Fact, Discus provides those accessibility tools at all grade levels and also helps our students to understand how to organize their research with those features. So where did it go? Why did it disappear? This board signed a pledge that included transparency as one of its core principles. There's nothing transparent about what has happened to Discus. Our teachers don't know, our educators don't know. Seems that this step to magically remove this database with no explanation to the stakeholders, like me, that this district continues to cater to a select few, ignoring the 45,000 children, including my own, that are impacted, and most importantly, those educators who now have to scramble to make do with Google Scholar. Fact, Google Scholar does not provide those accessibility tools that my children and all of our children can use. 2 words, my friends, opt out. As a parent, you always have the option to opt your child out of topics and issues and even activities at any given time. But that involves communication with your teachers, and that involves a relationship with the staff that you work with and that your children are working with every single day. In this March Madness, I know personally, as a former teacher, that right now we are helping our children to do and conduct research, not just for papers, but also for these state assessments that we know they are scoring the lowest on. Is this how we're gonna retain our teachers, is by making them do more work, making them scramble, and in the very moments when they are in the library, they discover that their children don't have access to a database that has been vetted by professionals for over 20 years. Opt-out option, please use it, parents.
Thank you, Ms. McIntosh. I apologize. Next up, Brian, what is the status of metal detectors being installed in the high schools?
That was me, it was just a question.
Brian? Yeah, we don't normally respond, but somebody from the district will respond to you. We'll now move on to the superintendent's report, item 6A.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and the BCSD community. I'm pleased to share several exciting updates and recognitions from across our district. Cross High School has been nominated as a 2025 National Blue Ribbon School in the Exemplary Achievement as a finalist in the Exemplary Achievement Gap Closing category. This honor is based on their improved test scores and graduation rate during the 23-24 school year, marking a significant increase over previous years. Congratulations to the Christ High School community on this well-deserved recognition. We want to take this opportunity to recognize Career and Technical Education Month, which highlights the critical role CTE programs play in preparing students for their future careers. This program offers hands-on learning and real-world experiences that equip students with essential skills for success in today's competitive workforce. A big thank you to our educators and students for their dedication to CTE excellence. Today, I also like to thank Rebecca Krosky and Danielle Stewart for attending tonight as representatives of our teacher forum. We always appreciate you. Their leadership and collaboration, along with many others, made last Friday's annual Professional Development Day a success, providing teachers with the resources and student support to support student achievement. We recently celebrated Bus Driver Appreciation Week, and I encourage everyone to thank our bus drivers for their dedication to student safety, transportation, and service. Last week, I had the honor of recognizing Trelia Simmons as Moncks Corner Chick-fil-A's Team Member of the Year for 2024. A recent Berkeley High School graduate, Trelia began working at Chick-fil-A as a part of her transition and work-based learning goals. She was selected for this honor due to her exceptional care and compassion and dedication to her team at Chick-fil-A in Moncks Corner. And we just wanted to congratulate Trelia for that honor once again. Our beta clubs, district beta clubs, had an impressive showing at the South Carolina Beta Convention. Our 100 students from 6 high schools, Berkeley, Cane Bay, for the first time, Cross, which Goose Creek, Philip Simmons, and Stratford, earned placements and will now represent their schools and our district at the National Beta Club Convention in Orlando, Florida. So I want to congratulate the students and their sponsors and their families for this achievement. You can visit our website for a full list of our individual winners of the Beta Club competition. Our annual Martin Luther King Jr. Luncheon will be held. It's rescheduled for Thursday, February 27th, 2025 at noon at Dean's Hall in Cypress Gardens. This event commemorates Dr. King's legacy of leadership and service. Our space is limited and seats are filling quickly, so please call the district office to RSVP. So I want to read all of those awards, but I want to recognize again Cross High School, National CTE Month, Teacher Forum representatives, and the job that they did for our Professional Development Day, bus drivers, Trelia, and all of our schools with Beta Club. Just give them a round of applause for their work. Wanted to thank everybody for your ongoing support of our students, our staff, and our school communities. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dixon. We'll now move on to action as required from executive session. Mr. McQuillan, I'll start with you.
With the expulsion appeals or the motions out of executive session?
The motions out of executive session.
Madam Chair, I move to accept the personnel recommendations of the administration as discussed in executive session for the current school year.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Ms. Littleton. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. I don't think. I move to approve the proposed settlement agreement in the case of Jackson versus Berkeley County School District as presented in executive session and authorize the superintendent to exercise such agreement.
Second.
There's a motion by Wofford, a second by Coates. Is there any further discussion?
What you said exercise agreement, I think it should be execute the agreement.
Yep, execute such agreement. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Last one before the attendance appeals. I move to rate the superintendent's performance as overall effective and exercise his contract provision to provide incentive compensation for this rating at 4% of his salary.
Second.
There's a motion by Wofford, a second by McQuillan. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0. I'll now hear expulsion appeals, and the motion for student number 1.
Madam Chair, in the matter of student number 1, I move that we grant the appeal and allow the child to return to the home school on strict probation.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Mr. Ramsey, to grant the appeal and return the student to the home school on strict probation. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0. Student number 2.
Madam Chair, in the matter of student number 2, I move that we grant the appeal and send the child to the alternative school.
Second.
There is a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Ms. Littleton to grant the appeal and assign the student to the alternative school. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0. We're now at agenda item 8A, temporary committee assignments if quorum for any committee is not present. I've asked Mr. McQuillan to chair the capital planning committee tonight as Mr. Baker is sick. So we'll now recess for committee meetings.
Calling the Committee on Capital Planning to order, I declare there are a quorum of members present and that the media has been given proper notice pursuant to FOIA. Do we have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. The agenda is approved. The first item on the agenda is the award update RFQ 677-2223 A&E Services for Hanahan Middle School. Dr. Karen Whitley, you're recognized.
Good evening, Chairman McQuillan, Dr. Dixon, board members, and citizens of Berkeley County. We come before you tonight to request an increase in the architectural fees for Hanahan Middle School. This increase is due to 2 factors: the final guaranteed maximum price, the GMP, of $43,010,285, which was approved on January 6, 2025, and off-site work required by the South Carolina Department of Transportation, which we received in January 2025. The final GMP exceeded the original estimated budget of $30 million, which was used to calculate the original architectural fees. FW Architect's fee was set at 5.25% of the final approved project budget, making this adjustment essential to align with the updated GMP. The increase is $683,039.96. The off-site work required by the South Carolina Department of Transportation for Ninth Street was not part of the original proposal or contract due to the project timeline. These newly identified requirements must be addressed to ensure compliance and successful project completion. The total increase for the mandated off-site roadwork design is $126,736.28. Approval of this increase is necessary to maintain project progress, meet regulatory standards, and ensure the renovation is completed as planned. Motion to approve the increase of RFQ number 677-2223 awarded to FW Architects for A&E services for the Hanahan Middle School project in the amount of $809,779.24 based on the final GMP, and to include the design of the mandated off-site roadwork as presented by administration.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion, questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
The next agenda item is
Thank you.
the award of, our award update of RFQ 559-1920 A&E Services for the prototype K-8 school design. Dr. Whitley, you're recognized again.
Thank you. We come to you tonight to request an increase of $207,484 for RFQ 559-19-20 for additional A&E services required for off-site road work widening as mandated by the South Carolina Department of Transportation for the new middle school in Nexton. The scope of the off-site road work was not known until December 2024, but it is essential for regulatory compliance and ensuring safe access and egress to and from the school. Given that Nexton Middle School is set to open in August 2026, prompt action is necessary to avoid project delays. The additional funds will cover roadway design modifications, engineering adjustments, and coordination with SCDOT. Without approval, the project risks noncompliance, safety concerns, and potential delays. The administration requests approval of the $165,054 increase to ensure the project remains on schedule and meets all necessary requirements.
Move to approve the increase in the award for RFQ 559-19-20.
Second. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. The third agenda item is RFQ 713, Architectural and Engineering Services for Berkeley High and Goose Creek High School additions and renovations. Dr. Whitley?
Thank you. On January 21st, 2025, the Berkeley County School District Board of Education approved the award to FW Architects and Mosley Architects firms. On January 28th, 2025, we met with both A&E firms to negotiate costs for both projects. Per our conversations, these are the results. For the Goose Creek High addition, FW Architects, the amount is $1.3 million, which is a lump sum fee, and Berkeley High addition for Mosley Architects is $1,234,200 lump sum fee. The motion to approve the award of request for qualifications 713-2425 architectural and engineering services for Berkeley High and Goose Creek High School additions and renovations to FW Architect for the project total of $1,300,000 and Mosley Architect for the project total of $1,234,200.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions?
Can I ask a question, Mr. McQuillan?
Sure.
Both FW and Mosley have worked for the district. Have they worked for these particular schools?
Yes, ma'am. Mosley is just finished up a project at Berkeley High School. It's my understanding that FW was involved in the renovation of Goose Creek High School.
That's great. Thank you.
Any further discussion or questions?
Dr. Whitley, you can confirm these are lump sum amounts. They won't change unless the scope of work for these contracts change?
Yes, ma'am. Unless the scope of work changes, then they would change, but this is a lump sum.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The fourth and final agenda item is RFQ 715-2425 Roof Design Services for Sangaree Elementary. Dr. Karen Whitley, you're recognized again.
On January 21st, 2025, the Berkeley County School District Board of Education approved the award to WM Building Consultants. On January 28th, 2025, we began negotiations for cost of the project. Per our conversations, this is the result. WM Building Consultants awarded amount $110,000. Motion to approve the award of request for qualification number 715-2425 Roof Design Services for Sangaree Elementary to WM Building Consultants for the project total of $110,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the committee meeting.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are now adjourned.
Thank you so much. Next on the agenda are reports from the standing committees. First, a report from the Committee on Academics and Innovation. Chair Kathy Littleton, you're recognized.
Madam Chairwoman, the Committee on Academics and Innovation met on February 3rd, 2025, and on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the Head Start Budget Expenditure Report for December 2024, Head Start Credit Report for December 2024, prospective new hires, Annual Self-Assessment Report, Improvement Plan, Strategic Plan, and Training and Technical Assistance Plans.
We have the recommendation from committee. No second is required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0.
Madam Chairwoman, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next is the Committee on Finance and Human Resources, Chairman Michael Ramsey.
Madam Chairwoman, the Committee on Finance and Human Resources met on February the 3rd, 2025, and on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the award of FPB number 718 for special education and related service providers to all named vendors for an initial contract term of 1 year with an estimated value of $5 million, with the option to renew for 4 additional 1-year terms for a potential 5-year contract value of $25 million. At the end of the 5-year contract term, the superintendent may elect to renew the contract for 2 additional years.
We have a recommendation from committee. No second is required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0.
Also, on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the award of IFB number 719 for the provision of scrap metal disposal services district-wide to R&R Metal Company Incorporated as a revenue-generating contract with initial 1-year contract term to provide an estimated revenue of $25,000 with the option to renew for 4 additional 1-year terms with a potential 5-year contract value of $125,000. Upon expiration of the initial 5-year term, the superintendent may extend the contract for an additional 2-year term.
So I'm just going to go back for the record. Potential contract value of $12.5 million upon expiration of the initial 5-year term. I think we just overread a 0. So that's the recommendation from the committee. There's no second required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question.
Are we on?
We're on the
C or
scrap
D?
metal, I think.
Oh, then I skipped a 1. See, you're looking at me so nice. I've had a day, ma'am. All right, so we are on the top one. It is $125,000. Whoever is doing
Right.
scrap metal thinks that they just had the best day ever. But they didn't. So 1-year contract term, estimated revenue, $25,000, option to renew 4 additional 1-year terms, contract value of $125,000. Mr. Ramsey, I apologize. 5-year initial term, superintendent may extend for 2 additional terms. Now I am on the same page as everybody else. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now we'll move on to the next one, which is $12.5 million. Mr. Ramsey.
Also, on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the award of FPB number 721 for education, consulting services, and materials to all named vendors for an initial 1-year contract term with an estimated value of $2.5 million, with the option to renew for 4 additional 1-year terms for a potential contract value of $12,500,000. Upon the expiration of the initial 5-year contract term, the superintendent may extend the contract for an additional 2-year term.
Thank you, Mr. Ramsey. We have the recommendation from committee. No second is required. Is there any further discussion for educational consulting services? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Also, on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the Berkeley County School District 2025-2026 allocation formulas as presented.
We have a recommendation from committee. No second is required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0.
Also, on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the Berkeley County School District 2025-26 additional allocations as presented.
We have a recommendation from committee. No second is required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Also, on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the revisions of policy GDQD, discipline, suspension, and dismissal of support staff as presented for first reading.
We have a recommendation from committee, no second is required. Is there any further discussion on GDQD, discipline, suspension, and dismissal of support staff for first reading? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
Madam Chairwoman, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next is the Committee on Capital Planning. Mr. McQuillan, you're recognized.
Madam Chairwoman, the Committee on Capital Planning met earlier this evening, and on recommendation of the committee, I move to increase RFQ number 677, 2022-2023, awarded to FW Architects for A&E services for the Hanahan Middle School project in the amount of $809,776.24 based on the final GMP, and to include the design of the mandated off-site roadwork as presented by administration.
We have a recommendation from committee, no second is required. Is there any further discussion? I do have one quick question. We don't have any concerns about FW Architects having the capacity to be working on multiple projects? Okay. All right. Hearing none, no further discussion. We'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0.
Also, on recommendation of the committee, I move to increase RFQ 559-1920 awarded to FM Architects for the A&E services for the mandated off-site roadwork design for the new middle school in Nexton in the amount of $165,054 as presented by administration.
We have a recommendation from committee, no second is required. Is there any further discussion?
Is it FM or FW? Are they two separate companies?
FW.
Okay.
So it's FW Architects?
So the one for the site work at Nexton is FW,
The s-
not FM?
Yep, the same as the previous.
Previous? Okay.
As Hanahan Middle
It's
School.
a typo.
I think it's a
Okay.
typo.
Just want to make sure.
Making me feel better. I'm having a tough day. I'm glad somebody else got a typo, so thank you. All right, FW Architects for A&E services, $165,054. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Also, on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the award of RFQ number 713-2425, Architectural and Engineering Services for Berkeley High School and Goose Creek High School additions and renovations to FW Architects, Inc. for the project total of $1.3 million, and Mosley Architect PC for the project total of $1,234,200.
We have a recommendation from the committee. No second is required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0.
Also, on recommendation of the committee, I move to approve the award of RFQ number 715-2425, Roof Design Services for Sangaree Elementary to WM Building Consultants for the project total of $110,000.
We have a recommendation from committee. No second is required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, 5-1, the ayes have it. All right, we are at a lucky agenda item 13A. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to approve.
Second?
There's a motion by Mr. McQuillan, a second by Ms. Littleton to adjourn. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 6-0. We are adjourned.